Trump has raised your taxes by about $1,600 a year, maybe more. Trump tax increase. How has he done it? By way of tariffs. Put it up full mass. I will explain. Based on the Trump administration's new tariffs, an analysis has confirmed that it will cost the average family $1,600 per year. An analysis completed by the Joint Economic Committee report showed that Trump's tax tariff policies could cost the average working class family in the United States at minimum, at least $1,600 per year. Democratic Congressman Don Beyer from Virginia stated, quote, the tariffs Trump just imposed on Canada, Mexico, and China will raise cost by up to $2,000 per year for an average American family. The trade war Trump is igniting will weaken our economy and cause chaos in our marketplace as Americans pay the cost in the form of higher prices on everyday items. It could be even worse than these numbers report, according to the congressman. Quote, while our report does not touch on this, these tariffs will also lead to retaliation. And I believe that's the biggest issue, to be quite honest with you, that badly harm American producers. And they will fail to achieve any of the protectoral objectives Trump has stated for imposing them. Less than 2 months into his term, Trump is running the economy to the ground and raising a real and growing risk of recession. And I think recession is a benefit of the doubt, to be quite honest with you. I think you're going into a depression. And the reality isn't just the tariffs. The tariffs, you can calculate that. Even though it's bad and it's a tax, yes, it's a deferred tax to the consumer, but you can calculate that. What you can't calculate is the reaction of the countries who impose penalty due to the trade war. Trade wars are unpredictable. That's why it's called a war. There's a level of unpredictability in it. And given how they strike back, that $1,600 can easily turn into $5,000 or above, making things prohibitive rather than just more expensive. So Trump obviously ignored the experts. He ignored all the warnings about the impact to consumers, did not give a damn, ignored all of this, doubled down on the previous tariffs, tariff for Chinese imports by 20 to 25%. President Trump has recently claimed that his plan will force production in the United States. Now, I want you to remember the goal. He's saying that this is going to force production in the United States, but the report points out that the new tariffs also impact the price of domestically produced goods by causing U.S. producers to raise prices if their supply chain relies on important raw materials subject to the tariffs. So once again, he's telling you this is going to force foreign nations to produce domestically, but he can't even promise you that domestic manufacturers will be able to produce domestically given his new tariffs. It's an insane idea that he has now implemented by law. Using figures released Monday by the Budget Lab, Beyer's report warns that this time electronics like computers, phones, and televisions will rise by nearly 11%. Clothing prices are expected to rise by 7.5%. The price of cars, the price of car parts, and other motor vehicles are expected to increase by over 6%. Oil will also rise by 1.7%, and petroleum and coal products will rise by 1.6%, making it more expensive for families to fill up their gas tanks and heat their homes. Grocery prices will jump under these tariffs, with fresh produce prices rising by nearly 3%, rice prices by 4.4%, and food prices overall rising by nearly 2%. Trump's tariff policies will significantly impact state and local economies, which we talked about are indisputable. Small counties in South and Midwest areas tend to have economies that are more connected to international trade, they're going to be adversely affected. Republicans are doing nothing, not a damn thing to stop it, and instead of pushing forward. So Republicans control not only the White House, but also both chambers of Congress. And GOP House members last month advanced a budget resolution that would fund an extension of Trump's 2017 tax cuts for the rich by slashing health and food assistance programs that help millions of working class Americans. So here we go. Oligarch Central, helping the rich, effing the poor, effing the working class. As a matter of fact, F everybody else that's not in the 1%, because that's all that's happening here. And here's the interesting saga. The president of the United States does not have the legal authority by himself to implement tariffs. He was given this authority by a law passed by Congress, giving the sitting president of the United States, whoever that may be, delegation authority in order to impact tariff trade. Now, they said initially, well, they did this, according to them, because they just needed things to be quick, to be faster. But here's what it also means. It also means at any time, those Republicans could have taken that power away from Trump. They can take it away from Trump today. They can take it away from Trump tonight. They can take it away from Trump tomorrow. They won't do it. They won't even tell you they have the power to do it. They want you to believe that Trump has the absolute authority when it comes to tariffs, but the Constitution and the law doesn't work that way. It gives Congress complete rights over tariffs. The only reason why the president of the United States has any authority here is because Congress passed a law giving him the delegated right to do so. But it can be taken away. The only reason it will be taken away is if Republicans care more about you than they cared about one man named Trump. All right, dear brother, thoughts here.
Well, my thoughts are that $1,600 a year is a lot for the average American, but let's also equate it to the average Californian who, while the national average of gas is $3.10, in California right now, it's $6, so it's double that. So remember, in places like California or New York, that's gonna significantly jump up to 2 or 3 times that. So we're looking at $3 to $5, maybe even $6,000 or $7,000 a year annually. Number 2, I don't think a lot of Americans understand how tariffs work. For some reason, they thought that China and Canada would be paying American taxes. That is not how geopolitics and or taxes work. So items come in, China's already paid, Canada's already paid, companies in America now have to pay extra taxes, and those taxes, they're not gonna pay out of pocket, as we have seen in the last decade of how they do business when all the prices are up and the actual quality of service is down. We're going to pay the average consumer. We will pay those taxes. They will trickle down to us. That's the only time trickle down economics actually works. And you'll see us paying higher prices for normal things. Nothing in the economy is going well right now. Stocks are down. New York Stock Exchange down 600 points. Dow Jones down 300 points. Bitcoin, the Bitcoin president has Bitcoin down. And now we see this is an additional bane to our economics. The only people who love this will be the billionaires because they are the only ones who benefit during a recession and or depression. Prices are down, they have the money to afford and wait for everything to swing back up. Buy low, sell high. That is the billionaire way to do business. This is ineffective and it's inappropriate for the president to do, and it's unfortunate. And while I do believe in that principle that we should be buying American, it should be a consumer cultural choice, not something that's created by artificial depression.
That's right. And in the meantime, people who suffer, some folk cannot bounce back from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of not having. It's just the truth of it.